bad, as usual. Okay. Put it in there nicely so I can read it. Okay. So we were blown away by the incredibly powerful espers submitted to the contest. Style, imagination, and endless creativity transcended expectations. Really? make it an incredibly difficult on our judges. Harry, Leovan, Sandora, and Gentleman to choose. Just 25 entries to award. Big congratulations to all the winners, and a special thanks to Lilith Games for hosting the contest. First place. The atmosphere is perfect. The attitude and movement of the character make the picture impactful and appealing.
So that was first place.
Second place. Midnight Rain, welcome back.
Oh my god, you're live! Jeez Louise. Was I in the camera?
I don't know.
God forbid I was in the camera.
The sassy look on the character's face, the flying peacock, and urban elements blend nicely together.
Can I put fire in the wood now?
Mm-hmm. So Midnight Rain says you were not on camera.
Awesome. That was naked.
Thanks. The author's depiction of the dynamic character of light and shadow in the composition shows a very high professional level. An interesting design that fits well the character's temperament. The background conveys very well the attributes of the associated deity. The surprising choice of background. Surprising. And the skilled light and shadow control greatly help release the charm of this character. Third place. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, bing. There's a bunch of them. Bing, 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 bing. Semi-finalists. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, 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 bing. Bing, bing. Okay. Lots of fun. That's a reference for this piece. You can't even see it. For that one in the corner there. So since they've announced the winners, I can now share my entry. I didn't place, unfortunately, but it wasn't about placing, it was about showing up. Yeah, that's right, just doing art today. I have experimented with paint. Once or twice. For the most part I just draw. However, once these pieces here on the table are done, the next piece that I start is it's gonna be a sketch, a paint, like a sketch that I'm gonna paint on top of to give it color. This was my entry into that contest. It didn't place anywhere. But yeah, that was my entry. Thank you. But yeah, I'm gonna go upload that because I've got a scan. It's on that machine, and get myself some water. I'll be back. Like, give me 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. back. It took much longer than I thought it would. Like, the desktop took 20 minutes to boot, and then I was like, what the fuck? I've had it off for too long, I guess. Yeah, turn that on so I can go into my deviant art. Remove this one. How do I do that, eh? All actions, share on socials, no thanks. I'd like to delete it, yes. And this one I want to download. There it is. Very nice, very nice. I always forget about this cushion. It's important, otherwise my back gets into serious spasms. I lean forward. I'm moving out of the camera. Lean forward. Okay. Leaning forward. Still need a little more. Leaning forward. A little bit more. There we go. Fantastic. Okay. There we have it. Now I need some music. Fantastic. Okay. I guess I can edit it. I guess I can make some like creative process live streamed on www.twitch.tv twitch.tv/QIR97. Add traditional art as a tag. Okay, now I want to put it on Twitter and on Facebook. Yeah, I guess I'll put it on Facebook. It's too bad that I can't upload to Instagram from the desktop. It's so bloody irritating. I'll have to download it again onto my phone, and then Instagram is the stupidest thing that was ever invented. No. I wanted to upload it to Twitter. Ishika? Is that who it is? Shika, welcome back. Hope you're doing well today. I'm doing good, thanks. I hope you are also. Yeah, as you said, yes, you are. Cool. I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. What else do I want to say here? I just want to put my link here. And then put some more hashtags. Commissions open. And hashtag sketch art. Hashtag Twitch streamers. Have you tried acrylic painting? Have I? No, not yet. Watercolors mostly. Those are the ones that I've experimented with. Oil? I think I might have a long time ago used oil, and also experimentally. Today you are doing tarot reading, only, not for free. I will do tarot readings for a tip, but otherwise no. What else am I putting in here? Commissions open, sketch, Twitch streamer. this depiction of Hela. I'm just gonna say, drew the Queen of the Dead as part of the Deviant Art competition. Didn't place, but I personally love it. Creative process was live streamed. Hashtag. Hashtag Twitch. Might as well. Thank you. And copy all this so I can put it on Facebook as well. Oops. Cool. Now there's the tweet button. Thankful for Control Z, yeah. I'm clicking on it, now what? I'm clicking on it. Nothing's happening. Yeah, Control Z is undo. Something weird's going on. Control C is copy, Control X is cut, Control Z is undo. So I accidentally hit Control X instead of Control C, so I ended up cutting it instead of copying it. That's what happened there. Okay, it's working now. Cool. Oh, yeah, I just posted. You've been up for almost 24 hours. Why are you doing that to yourself? No, I do it to myself as well. I typically do it to reset my sleep cycle. You know, if my sleep cycle has fallen out of sync, then I will stay awake until the following evening so I can actually like reset it. One other place I want to put it, and that's in my Museum of Arts. How do I get rid of that thing? I don't want it there. Make sure it happened. Okay. Okay, we can draw now. Work plus pay bills day. Sorry to hear that. I don't know how you can do that while working. Don't know how. You must be like God or something. So I do that. I upload pieces with tags and stuff and links so that I can, you know, bring people from the other socials into the stream. It's like, there was a period where I would do that regularly, you know, I'd make like ads for my tarot streams and stuff. And like my viewers really increased. Not immediately, but like over time my viewers really substantially increased. And then one day I stopped doing the ads and shit. And then my viewers dramatically decreased. I was like, what happened? What am I doing differently? And I was like, oh shit, it's because I was making ads and stuff. So yeah. Because, you know, I'm not an affiliate, and I've chosen not to affiliate myself for a reason, on principle. Twitch wants to take way too much of my money if I am affiliated. They want to take 50%. And I'm happy to give 15% for the benefits of affiliation, but 50% is too much, so no affiliation for me. But that also comes with some downsides. You know, if I'm not affiliated, they don't promote my stream. I have to promote it myself. Like, it doesn't show up in the recommended list for people. You have to search it or follow a link from somewhere else. You've already worked your 14-hour shift as a trucker, and now you're here and paying off bills while I can. I see. You're a trucker. That's cool. That's fucking cool. Oh, I see you said something else there. Let me check my actual chat so I can see what's going on. Macabre says, thank you for not doing tarot reading for free today. It's okay, but individuals with your kind of unseen high-level spirit quality justifiably merits more. Thank you. But you know, if I don't show people what I can do, how will they ever know? The only way that I've ever managed to bring in paying clients is by demonstrating through live streams, you know, free. Otherwise, no one ever sees and they never trust unless they see, unfortunately. But thank you for your recognition, Macabre. Macabre. And I don't mind it, you know, it's part of my purpose to provide guidance and healing. And like, I've had to work through that in myself, because I'm like, okay, it's my purpose to do this, but if I'm expecting something in return, I will never get the opportunity to do it. So I need to just go ahead and do it. And those who recognize what I'm providing and who see me will give something in return. Like this solar system, like you see the goal there for solar rig. I've basically got all the pieces I need to build that solar rig, so I'm going to be starting to do that real soon, putting it up, I mean. And that wouldn't be possible without those of you who, you know, actually sent tips and donations. So I wouldn't be where I am if I wasn't, you know, providing free services. Because I do get something out of it. Hey, Exclaim, welcome. I am doing good, thank you. How are you doing? How's the pain in your body today? Feeling any better? And welcome back, by the way. Good to see you again. The pain is getting less strong. I'm glad to hear it. Oh, amazing. Thank you very much, Midnight Rain, for the tip. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much it means. May you reap 777-fold every seed that you sow. You have a strange question for me. Okay, go ahead and shoot. Yep, it went through already. As you can see, the donation goal has updated already. So would you like me to give you a reading? Because, you know, that's how it works today. If you send a tip, I give something in return, you know, energy exchange. Hey, Mr. Subin. Of course, of course. Nah, it's all good. I got no expectations. If I have expectations, I will be disappointed. Okay, so you can give me a question if you have one. Love? Okay, cool. Love reading. Turning over the first card. Art in reverse. Okay. Crossed by Knight of Wands. Okay, so that art card is in your present, and it says before you're gonna find, you know, a relationship that works, you're gonna have to work on your teamwork game, because you are very used to doing things your way, budgeting according to your own essentials and that sort of thing. So this card is about co-creating, working together with other people, particularly when it comes to a sexual, intimate relationship. So that's marriage, love. Yeah, learning to be flexible with those people that are in your life currently, like maybe family, maybe friends, maybe mother, father. There are people in your life that you're not working with very well, that you're very rigid with, and you don't give them scope, and you don't validate their perspective of what is a priority. So this art card is saying work on that in your life, because you're going to need to turn that card around. You're going to need to, you're going to need to allow your creativity and your process and your lifestyle to complement someone else's before you can actually be in a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Knight of Wands here says that the intentions you've had when you're looking for a relationship in the past, you go into relationships, you go in with certain desires and certain intentions, and this card says that an entire rebirth within those intentions is required. It's not saying that your intentions are bad going into a relationship, it's just saying that it's not aligned with what you actually want from a relationship. Like, if you visualize a future relationship, what you actually want is not really aligned with the intentions you have when you go into a relationship or when you go out looking for a partner. So that needs to be reborn, those intentions. Eight of Swords, that's a conscious mind. That's what your mind is fixated on. Unconscious mind, this is things that are affecting you that you're not even necessarily aware of. The Eight of Swords in reverse, that is like an adjustment in... It's adjustments in your purpose, adjustments in goals that you might have, knowledge. It's like you have goals in your mind. You're like, okay, these are things that I want to accomplish with my life, and I need to make certain changes in order to realize that. It's like who I currently am, the person I currently am doesn't live that lifestyle that I'm visualizing, that I want to accomplish. So in order to get there, I'm going to have to make some changes. So you are aware that you need to make changes. The card in reverse, though, it talks about clinging on to old habits that are not compatible with that future you desire, old patterns, old worldviews, things that you should cut them out because they're not serving your vision, they're not serving your goals, but you're still hanging on to them. In that card it says turn it around, you know. Also, another thing that's coming through is you can see the places where you're hanging on. You can see the places where you're clinging to habits that don't serve you, and you feel guilty about it. You know, you fixate your mind on the shortcomings, and that just wants to say to you, hey, have a look at the areas that you have grown, because there are new habits you've adapted that are healthy. Yeah, there are still old habits, you know, like staying up for 24 hours and more, that don't serve your goal, but there are also things you've changed that are for the better. So look for your successes as well, don't just fixate on your failures. And this moon card in reverse, this card, it talks about the shattering of illusion, but the card is in reverse, so it's kind of like indulging the illusion. People from your past have said, oh, you'll never amount to anything, or people have just put illusions and delusions on you. They've told you this is how the world works, or this is how society works, and though you didn't necessarily believe them and you don't want to subscribe to those illusions, it's still affecting you unconsciously. It's part of the reason why you don't have a good teamwork game. Maybe because you felt like other people have come and tried to put their worldview on, and so you've created like a barrier saying, no, I can do things better alone, than being influenced by all this confusion stuff that comes from other people. This is your past, this is where you've come from, Eight of Cups in reverse. So that card talks about a lack of emotional boundaries in past relationships, something that also needs to shift and change before you go into new relationships. More than that, that card so not only was there a lack of emotional boundaries for you, you also crossed emotional boundaries for others. So what that looks like is neediness, honestly. In all honesty, that's like neediness. Being very needy and clingy, and finding yourself attracted to needy, clingy people, because, you know, it's like forms of codependency that's not really healthy. This is out of a fear, because in this card we see there are a bunch of cups, not all the cups are full, so it's like you've been in relationships in your life, family relationships, friends, and you feel like you don't get enough out of the relationship, like they're taking more from you than you're giving. So it's like out of a fear of not getting enough that you then get really clingy, fear that they don't love you as much as you do, you get clingy, and they do the same. It forms this unhealthy codependency. So that card, it says, in the past you've had a lack of emotional boundaries, you've crossed others' emotional boundaries, and you've had a struggle putting down your emotional boundaries. So that's something that's got to shift, as well as this art card in the present. Future. The future is the mages, also reversed. So all of your cards are reversed here. That's not a terrible thing, but this mages is going to have to get turned the right way around. This is like a warning and a suggestion. It's like the future that you want to have a healthy, strong relationship and a good marriage and that kind of future. So when somebody comes up to communicate clearly, when there are people who come up, friends who you might have an interest in, or new prospects, you know, new opportunities to get into relationships or to start forming a relationship, you're going to have to communicate clearly with them. Talk clearly about your intentions, your long-term vision, short-term vision, everything that's going on for you. You communicate it clearly, because this card in reverse here, it says because of your cards in reverse, all of them, it's saying you have a tendency to like hold back information and omit things, and it's just saying turn it around and be completely honest and vulnerable. That will help get all of these things into alignment. That'll be like the first step to bring everything the right way around. Clear communications. And how do you combat being needy and clingy? Acceptance. Like neediness comes out of fear. It's like a result of fear. Fear of being abandoned, fear of rejection, fear of all kinds of things. So acceptance is a key to overcoming neediness. Accepting, okay, that isn't like me, I do that, I have done that. Accepting that that thing you're afraid of might happen, or might have happened already. Like if you're so afraid they're going to cheat or they don't love you, to accept that that is a possibility. And to be okay with that, you know. So instead of your intention being I need your love, it's like I'm going to love you regardless of my fears. I'm going to show you patience and peace and kindness and gentleness and self-control regardless of whether or not you love me, because I love you. Yeah. And Queen of Discs, I'm not doing readings for free today. I did this reading for Midnight Rain because she sent me a tip. This is an art stream. Will I be doing a spell casting stream? I do plan to, I do want to. The issue with that is that I don't get a lot of interaction, and so I've been procrastinating for that reason. I get very few viewers when I do those kinds of streams, very little interaction, very few people understand what spell casting is and the value they can receive from it. Very few understand what scrying is and how that works. So yeah, I've been procrastinating for that reason. I don't know when, I don't have plans. I guess I should do one for this month, so sometime before the end of the month, I guess. Maybe towards the end, like the last week of the month, which is next week, is it? Probably next week. Yeah. I know, Queen of Discs, you love the music, you love everything that we do here, and I do appreciate that. Okay, cool. I will message you. I'll just put that there. Amazing. I'm so glad you're going to do art with me. I think I'm gonna have to bring some heat in here soon because it's getting colder and colder by the minute. By the way, guys, I also do, my commissions are open. I do these kinds of portraits. It's like it's a service that I offer. Like last month I did this piece for Hugolina, drawing of her dog Yoshi. So the few times that I have tried to paint onto my drawings, I feel like I've ruined them. The few times that I've tried to add color, so that's why I've been avoiding color. But I realize I just need the right color tools. So I want to get some art markers, because I feel like that's the right tool. I'm still gonna experiment with some paints again in the next week or so. Like when I finish this piece, I'm going to start a new one. I've already got this one on the go, but I'll work on that one plus my color one. Thank you so much. You have an amazing day as well, and sleep tight. I'll see you again next time. Thank you. I will remember that I'm awesome. You too, eh? Don't forget it. Fuck. Fuckity fuckity fuck. I didn't change the category of this stream. Damn it. I have a tendency to do that. I stream tarot in the art category and I stream art in the tarot category. Unable to connect to Facebook. Unfortunate. It seems to be standard. Like I can stream to Facebook for 1 hour and then it disconnects. The other platforms are all good. It's very weird. Exclaim donated $15. Amazing. Thank you so much, Exclaim. Thank you so much, dear friend. Yeah, I never doubted you for a second, Exclaim. Never doubted you. Not for a second. I did get bored of hearing you say it, though, and nothing happening. But I never doubted that you were sincere. You never asked me your crazy question, though. Please do. And thank you so much, for going out of your way to set up a PayPal account and deposit funds into it. I know it's tedious. Unfortunately, it's the only way for me to get international monies into this bloody country. And who knows how long it'll last anyway. Just one more thing to do. No problem. Take your time. Da 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 da. Oh my god. Exclaim. Is that the one more thing you had to do? Thank you so much. I think you have upgraded from favorite viewer to ultimate viewer. You're most welcome. And thank you, thank you for all of your support in all the different forms you've given it, in the forms of your presence, in the form of this financial support you've just given, in the form of the advice you've given and the reflections you've given. Thank you. I agree. Thank you very much. I go to the toilet and then I'll be back. See you soon. So here is my question. Looking forward to it. Actually, I have two questions. What is the meaning of the number 666? Is this really the devil, or is there something else? The number 666 is the number of man. The number 666 is the number of mankind's wisdom. So no, it's not the devil. They say that man's power and man's wisdom comes from the dragon of chaos, and the dragon of chaos is known as the devil according to some Christian traditions. But the dragon of chaos is really just the natural universal law, you know, of life and death. So that scripture in Revelation, it's often been misinterpreted. John says, and then I saw a beast rise out of the sea. And so on. It had 7 heads, and upon its heads were 7 crowns, and upon its crowns were the names of blasphemy. Horns upon the crowns, crowns upon the horns. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but anyway. I don't remember quite how it goes, but he says something along the lines of, and the number of the beast is, the name of the beast is the number of a man, and its number was 666. So if we look throughout the scripture, we'll find that there's only one man referenced in the scripture who uses the number 666, and that's Solomon, who ruled the world and who is considered to be the wisest man who ever lived. So whenever he conquered a nation, he would charge that nation 666 of a thing as tribute. So they would have to pay 666 tons of gold or whatever it was that he chose, and give it to him as tribute. If we have to look at numerology, 6 is the number of evolving through interaction, you know, by interacting with others. Revelation is not the only place where a beast that comes out of the sea is referenced. The other prophet who saw that was Daniel. And Daniel, he literally said, after he interpreted the dream, he said, this symbol, this monstrosity is your kingdom, King Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom, king of Babylon. And in the Revelation scripture, John also recognizes that Babylon the whore rides upon the beast. So, you know, 666 is the number of man's wisdom, of man working together to create monstrosities and empires and systems that work in his interest, relying on his own wisdom and his own capacities. That is what 666 is. Here is the second question. With the colleague, I had some number indication. It's the 666 number, and the fact that your reading was telling me to commit to this friendship, even though it seems at first it might look deceiving. Interesting. Well, going back to numerology, the number is about evolving through interaction, so it's no surprise that you're seeing this number as confirmation. It kind of says that whatever you can create a system that works in both of your interests by applying both of your wisdom collectively, your wisdom, her wisdom, collectively, to create solutions and to create systems that support both of you and evolve past your previous limits. That's basically what the number 666 implies numerologically. Yeah, in essence. It's like together you are a kingdom. Alone you are individuals. Together you are a kingdom. On the note of the Revelation prophecy, most of it has happened. Most of it is happening. Like it starts out with some messages to churches, blah de blah de da, and then he starts to see the prophecy, and it starts out with horsemen, and each one has a name, and he does certain things on the earth. Like the first one is it war? It's a conqueror. It's a king with a crown. He's given a crown and a sword, and he's told to go and conquer the entire earth. That is the British expansion, you know, moving from England, colonizing the entire fucking globe. The English king, English ruler. And then it's followed by war, you know, all the nations of earth up in arms against each other. World War I, World War II, that happened. Then we come some balance, you know, some harmony, peace and balance, where anything that you could hope for or desire you can purchase. You know, a penny for a pound of wheat, a penny for a pound of barley. That's the rider of balance. And then comes the rider of death, and he, you know, he kills people through disease and plague and famine and what's the word, violence, like strife and strikes and riots and suicide. And that's busy happening right now, you know, with COVID. That's one of the diseases, and all the riots that we've seen as a result of COVID, and all the suicides as a result of COVID, and so on and so forth. But, you know, he's also the last of the horsemen. So the next thing that happens after the horsemen is a comet hits the planet. You know, after the horsemen come and they make their changes, the next thing that happens is angels start blowing their trumpets, and then comets start hitting the planet. So that's what we can expect next if everything goes, if things continue at their present rate. And then the beast, you know, the beast is like the USA and the EU and NATO, all these like unions of nations, and the wisdom of man, the systems that we've created, and the mark of the beast, the names of the beast, that's our ID numbers, our driver's license. It's like, yeah, it's busy happening. On another note, it's kind of scaring me. Yeah, legit. It is kind of scary. And the fact it's talking about chaos, my power animal is linked to chaos. Interesting. Yeah, they say that the beast, he gets his power from the dragon of chaos. Leviathan. Oh, ancient serpent of chaos. You know, the one who like eats his tail in an endless circle? That one. Flies around the abyss in an endless circle. And that's naturally a symbol, you know, it's a symbol of the cycles of life and death, you know, stars die, they're born, gravity, the natural law, you know. Natural universal law. Physical law. And it is true, you know, the beast does get his power from the natural law. We, using science to manipulate those laws to our advantage, like electricity and spaceships and vaccines and all of that nonsense, robots, artificial intelligence. The beast being man's wisdom. Man's wisdom using the dragon's chaos to our advantage. Exciting. But 6 is more of a soulmate energy than a twin flame energy. Just on another note. But I don't know, you guys seem to be very twin flamey, to be honest. Using chaos to my advantage, you're talking about me. I'm talking about mankind at large. I'm talking about that. You know, that's what we do. That's what we as human beings fucking do, is we like manipulate chaos to our advantage. Some of us do it better than others, but yeah, that's what we do. It's literally what magic is about as well, and it's literally what science is about. And just using different methods and different formulas. You're good at using shit as fertilizer, yeah. Well done. And if you couldn't use shit as fertilizer and you were buying fertilizer, you're buying it from a guy who can turn shit into fertilizer. No, of course you can get a reading, of course. I'll do that for you right now. Would you like me to read on the topics that we've been discussing? The nature of the relationship? Formulating the question in the correct manner, correct way. There comes the brazier. Thank you so much, baby.
My pleasure.
Damn, the words are not coming. Well, say it anyway, and you know, as long as I understand it, I can reword it. It was bound to happen at some point, right? Queen of Wands. So I'll put that in the center. We'll cross it. Oh, it's the Moon card. And then we've got Conscious thoughts. Debauch. 8 of Cups. 7 of Cups, I mean. 5 of Swords. 8 of Swords. And Knight of Discs. So you can still ask your question at this point, or I can just go ahead and start reading. Okay. So that Queen of Discs over there in reverse, it's like an expansion towards your desires. New doorways and opportunities opening up that allow you to expand towards your desires. You've already worked towards these desires, whatever they might be, the things that you're really passionate about. You've worked towards them in the past, so you have all of the knowledge and experience from the past that you're applying in the present to achieve this expansion. Part of that is communication. That's like the biggest part of it right now, is communicating these passions, communicating these intentions, communicating these desires. This is specifically within this relationship with this twin flame of yours, the 666 twin flame, and other relationships as well. The card in reverse, though, it's like you are not so convinced of these desires or these intentions. You're not so convinced that it's possible. So you're still trying to click it in your mind that it is possible and this is what you're doing and it's not a waste of time. So that card, it wants to make a warning and saying that you might be pushing certain people away, trying to convince them that what you're talking about is legit, that you can accomplish it, or that it's a possibility. But you don't need to be convincing them. You don't need to be convincing the other people. You're trying to convince yourself. And this is crossed. This present is crossed by the Moon card. So that is basically, it gives a new perspective. And what it's saying here is, you've arrived into this present moment where you're expanding on your ideas and doing that through communication. You've arrived at that point because certain illusions that you believed in have been shattered. Things that you were told when you were being raised, during your upbringing, certain understandings of your worldview, there are things that were not necessarily true or that were elusive are being shattered. You're realizing that you actually have everything you need to pursue this desire and to live in what you're passionate about, and to have the things that you intend to have. You have everything you need at your disposal to get there. It's like you were standing in front of the sea and you're like, I need to get to the other side, I need to cross this ocean. You had the means to part the waters like Moses did, but instead you're like, oh God, how can I part the waters? Why have you brought me here to die? That was an illusion. Those thoughts of self-pity or fear or reluctance, that was all illusion. And suddenly you had a realization and all of that illusion was shattered. And you realized, actually, I can just part these waters and go through. That 7 of Cups is in your conscious mind. That's conscious, where your consciousness, your thoughts are fixated. And that card talks about distracting yourself from your emotional experience. Over here we see these cups are full. They're so full that they're overflowing and the water has gone green. It's like sour and rancid. So that talks about pleasure, filling your cups with pleasure and whatever that might look like. Series, video games, entertainment. It's usually in some form of entertainment or some kind of substance abuse, like smoking, alcohol, or cannabis. And at first it's great, it works, it distracts you from your emotional experience. But after some time, it starts to rancid. You know, like when you eat too much sugar, eventually you stop tasting sugar. That's basically what's going on there. It's like you're overfilling the cups until it stops being pleasant. So when you reach that point, then it forces you to go back to feeling your emotions. You can no longer escape them through substance. You can no longer escape them through entertainment. The substance feels like work. The series starts to feel like work. The video gaming starts to feel like work. And you can't distract yourself anymore. So it's kind of saying that your conscious mind is still looking for ways to escape your emotional experience. You want to face it, like you've got this pain in your body, you want to face it, you want to sit with it, you don't want to take medicine to let it pass away. But you still, despite the want to face it, you're still looking for ways out. You're still looking for little distractions here and there. But those distractions have turned sour. They're no longer functional. They're no longer working for you, and so the feelings are flowing regardless. Unconscious mind, 5 of Swords. This is things that are affecting you that you might not even be aware are affecting you. And 5 is like 5 is like doing the best that you can, reaching the limits of what's possible for you with what you know. And Swords is specifically to do with education, knowledge, that whole mental, intellectual sphere. So it's like you were raised to see the world from a very intellectual standpoint. You have to understand it intellectually. It has to make sense intellectually. You have to study things in order to learn and expand and grow. And so you've been doing the best that you can in the present with this 5, with this Queen of Wands. The expression of your passions and your desires, the expansion thereof, and the shattering of these illusions, coming with a lot of fear. You're doing the best that you can to cope with that. And this year, where you're trying to feel your emotions, but at the same time, like, trying to get away from it, you're doing the best that you can with the way that you were raised and the things you were taught and the way you understand the world. 8 of Swords in the past. So that is like before you reach this present moment. Before you reach the present moment, you were aware of what needed to shift. You were like, okay, there are certain aspects of my life and my reality that are not the way I want them to be. There are things that need to change. There are things that need to grow. So that 8 of Swords is like letting go of habits and lifestyle that didn't serve the changes you wanted to see, and then adapting new habits and new lifestyle that did serve it. And that's what brought you into this Queen of Wands. That's what allowed the illusions to be shattered with this Moon card. Future interval is a Knight of Discs, and the Knight of Discs, the Knight of Discs, the right way around, is talking about relationship changes. Yeah, if it's in reverse, it's usually like getting dumped, or it's like getting fired. But when it's the right way around, it's like saying, hey, I think something needs to change here. It's giving a complete rebirth to your physical relationships and your physical universe. Choosing it consciously, like, okay, I'm actually done with that old way of living. I'm done with those old relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic. It could be friends, toxic friendships and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's like, okay, I'm consciously done with that. Past chapter, closing it, opening a new chapter. Yes, it's still uphill from here, but, I look up with determination and intention. It's about trust and my mother, her trust towards me. Well, if we're talking about your mother here, then this relationship closing and like starting a new chapter in relationships, that does apply to your mother as much as other areas of your life, other relationships in your life. It definitely applies to your mother, like closing that old chapter of mistrust and starting to be more vulnerable, or starting to be more supportive, or no longer accusing, whatever. Closing the old chapter, starting a new one, even if that means you have to distance yourself from her for a while. Queen of Wands in the present could mean, it does mean, it's also talking about at large, with other relationships and all your relationships with women, because our mothers are like, that's our first relationship with women, and it impacts all our relationships with women. So, trying to convince them that something is possible, or that what you're passionate about is something you can accomplish. But you're actually trying to convince yourself, not her. You don't need to convince her, you need to convince yourself. So you're pushing her away, and she's mistrusting you because of that constant, like, fiery energy that you approach with. But all of this has happened because you've had your illusions shattered, the things you've been believing most of your life, things she taught you that she no longer believes, etc. And this creating all kinds of difficult feelings in your body and in your being, emotional uprising, but they're not really being ready to face it, so looking for ways out, looking for ways to distract yourself. Those ways of distracting yourself then no longer working, they turn sour after a while, and the emotions express themselves anyway. In the present, you're communicating with her, and all of your relationships, you're doing the best that you can with where you come from, with your paradigm that was taught to you and handed down from your father, by your father's father to him, by him to you. You're doing the best that you can with your worldview and your intellectual standpoint. Yeah, I'm just running a basic overview. You're in the present here where you're struggling with these things in the relationships, and you're dealing with all this stuff because you didn't like the way it was, or you realized that the way it wasn't compatible with the lifestyle you wanted to live or the person you wanted to be. So you were like, okay, something needs to shift. I need to start making some kind of change. Even if I can't change others, I can change me. And you started doing that, changing habits, changing lifestyle in order to get closer to who you want to be and have the relationships you want to have. And it leads into the closing, closing of old chapter and the opening of a new chapter. I hope that you got the value you were looking for, and I hope that it answers your question. Even though you didn't give me the question, I hope it answered your question. Here's a question for all you psychics out there. Not really. It'll come later. Have to take a phone call. Okay, cool. Chat to you in a sec. Exceptional insight on how you answered Exclaim's questions, especially your biblical references. Very interesting. Thank you for your recognition, and yeah, I honestly feel like let me not divulge into that too much. I feel like Christians cannot see what the Bible is telling them because they have too much dogma. So coming from an outside perspective, someone who's not attached to the belief or the dogma, it allows me to see things a little more clearly, I think. But then, you know, everyone has their own interpretation. I also feel like many things are up to interpretation. So the symbols that I'm seeing and I'm interpreting, I don't think it's wrong, but then someone else might see other things that are, you know, related, small pieces of the same bigger picture. Because I feel like John was most definitely a mystic, and Jesus was too. But how dare you call John a mystic or Jesus a mystic? You know, that's blasphemy. But how can you interpret their prophecies unless you understand a little bit about mysticism and dream interpretation and other occult practices? Numerology, you know, the whole fucking alphabet is a divination system. The tarot is based off of it's based off the Kabbalah, which is, you know, the Hebrew alphabet. And that's something that was lost. It was lost to Catholicism. Catholicism, they burned the Gnostic churches. They destroyed the library of Alexander. They hid that knowledge deliberately because it didn't help them. It didn't serve the church to allow people to self-empower. It didn't serve them. And they wanted you to pay them to get your granddad into heaven. How could they do that if you understood that heaven and hell are abstract concepts and not literal places? And you're back. Welcome back. Yes, please. Please feel free to reflect and bounce and muse. I'm gonna switch up the music. Excuse me. To my mother, a friend who... I don't know, should I read it out loud? I will just read it to myself. If you keep sending it in small parts like that, I don't have to read it out loud, because you know, anyone can read it on screen. Very interesting. Giving of oneself, giving of thyself. It's a very interesting concept you're raising, Exclaim. Yes, yes, now that makes sense, but if you don't mind me saying at this point, femininity at large is designed to receive. Femininity at large, that's a big part of womanhood and femininity is reception, and that's not just receiving a penis, it's like receiving on an energetic level, like attracting things inward instead of pushing things outward. And masculinity is very much about industriousness and pushing things outward. Giving. Yes, women are industrious to have that masculine character. We as men are also, we can also receive. But yeah, masculinity is radiant and femininity is like absorbing. It's like light and dark. Light radiates. A good way to explain it, the way I like to explain it, is like the sun radiates energy. It radiates outwards, and then that's the kind of energy it produces. That's the force it has on the world, is this radiant force. And then like a black hole, it pulls everything in. It's gravity. Gravity affects everything, but you can't really see it or feel it. It doesn't have a substance. It's pulling on everything. Whereas like light is pushing on everything, bouncing off of everything. Exactly. Yin has a little yang in it and vice versa. Yeah, in my upbringing, I was, it was very much the reverse for me. It was always about giving. I was taught about giving. Even if I'm being taken advantage of. Always giving, always producing. And like shamed, made to feel guilty for receiving or taking. Always. Like things have changed a lot in the way my parents raised children, but when they were raising me, that's how it was. I had to give of myself always. And they taught me that's how I will get places in the world, is to give, never mind receiving. And every time I received something, I was like made to feel guilty about it. Every time that I took something, I was made to feel guilty about it, shamed and punished. Like there's a specific instance where I took rice cakes out of the cupboard to eat, and I got into so much trouble for that. I'm a thief, I'm a dishonest little sneak, taking rice cakes out of the cupboard, stealing. How dare I? Same with picking up coins, picking up loose change out from under the couches and shit, like scrounging for loose change and taking it and calling it mine. Oh, sneaky thief I was for that. And my heart still hurts a little about that, and I still feel a little bit of something when I receive, a little bit of like something that shouldn't be there, something that hurts a little bit. Not a chance. Not a chance am I gonna give it back. No refunds, no refunds available. Tips are non-refundable. Disclaimer. Oh, it hurts for me to say it, but I say it anyway. But yeah, there's still a little bit of something. You know, when I saw you send the money the first time, I was like, it was very touching. And then when you sent money the second time, and then I felt a little bit of guilt, as strange as that might sound. I was like, I don't know how to express gratitude enough to feel like this is deserved. And it's very interesting that you were having a similar experience with the giving on the other end. My always giving Father. If I can bounce a reflection back on that, you know, when you give something out, you must give it without expectations, because you will receive. It's part of the law of chaos, is that what goes out comes back. What you throw up in the air will come back down, but it might not look the way you're expecting it to look, and so therefore you miss out on it anyway. You give with the expectation of it coming back a certain way, and it doesn't. It comes back in other ways. Here, for example, I give $100, no attachment, no expectation to outcome, to some random guy who asks. He's like, hey man, I'm struggling this month, I need some money, so I give it. And then, you know, I start receiving food, and I start receiving all the things that I need that I would have spent that $100 on. I start receiving it back. The value of the $100 comes to me, but it doesn't come in the form of money. You know, I'm expecting, if I had given it with the expectation that I'm going to see that $100 in cash, I would have missed out on the value that I received. When I received more than $100 worth of value, but it didn't come in cash. And when you give out, you know, you give to someone, and if you expect them to give something back to you again, you're going to miss out on the value, because when you give out, the universe will replace what was given. You know, energy flows in a circuit, so you don't have to receive back from the one that you gave to. And like, it's a perfectly good example of this is when I go and support other streamers and other content creators. If I buy tarot readings from people or send tips to them when I ask for readings, or if I ask an artist to do some work for me and then I pay them for that work, I will find that immediately I will start receiving wealth, I'll start receiving money, I'll start receiving gifts from other sources. It's like as soon as I'm giving out, the universe starts replacing what has gone out. It doesn't necessarily come back from the artist, it doesn't necessarily come back from the streamer, but it comes back. I see. Welcome to the club, Macabre. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. But those who do see the value in it are blessed by it. Yep. Let's make that fertilizer. And then we can sell it. A mental fertilizer maker. Can put it on your CV. It's macabre, like macabre, but with double E instead of one E. Made me see a scheme. I'll share it with you on Discord. Fantastic. Opening Discord. Macabre, you can type !Discord to join the Discord. So !Discord. All lowercase. Unless you're already there, because I saw someone join the other day in a name that I didn't recognize. Could have been you. Who knows? Who knows? Opening original. Okay. Schema, not scheme. Not scheme, but schema. Okay. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Can I put it on screen? My focus is gone. Focus, camera. Focus. Thank you. Here's exclaims schema. Giving. Efficient. It's under your control. This is a way to start the cycle. Receiving. Not under your control. Not so efficient. Another way to start the cycle. And what is the cycle? Just, to expand on it a little bit from your perspective, what is the cycle? It's a giving and receiving cycle. Like what is the objective? Balance? Balance life? Chaos? So with the giving being efficient and under your control, does that mean you can stabilize, or you can make predictions on how much you're going to receive? You can secure yourself in essence by giving. So you can strategically put energy and gifts out into the universe as a means to secure yourself, to make sure that you will always have enough coming in to keep yourself secure and balanced. Oh, I see. If it comes to relationships and you want to create like a balanced energy exchange, yeah, waiting to receive is not within your control. Okay, I understand. Excuse me. Even receiving money, you have to start a work to give a service before receiving money. Yeah, if you're just waiting around to receive money, you might receive something here or there, but yeah, it resonates with me what I was saying earlier, and starting to provide services, starting to host a stream, giving the things that I have to offer. Like even my first portraits are gifts and not commissions, not paid for. But by starting them, like this one. Okay, this one. This one was free. I was giving this one as a gift. This one led to this one, which was paid for. If I hadn't done this, I wouldn't be here, I had to initiate the cycle. I couldn't just wait for someone to ask me to do a commission. I had to demonstrate what I can do. It doesn't necessarily mean that giving automatically means you want something in return, but if you want something, start by giving. I like it. I did a loop in the schema to put the notion of feedback. Pay attention to the feedback. If I give you my P, I'm not sure I might receive something in return. Beware of what value. You will still receive something in return. It'll most likely be on the lines of excrement and pee and waste, you know? Broken shits in return for waste. If you're giving out toxic shit, you receive toxic shit. You know? That kind of vibe. If you're gossiping about people, you can be damn sure people are gossiping about you. If you're integrous and speak honestly about people, you can be damn sure they're going to do the same about you. But then also, you know, you don't have to accept a gift. You don't have to receive something that you don't want. You don't have to receive poison or toxicity. If someone is trying to give you something that has no value or is dangerous and detrimental, you don't have to receive it. You can save them trouble and yourself trouble if you don't receive it. That's a point that was made by Gautama the Buddha, actually. He said to someone who wanted to kill him, someone who was like throwing insults at him and threatening to kill him, he said to him, "Old man, if a man comes into your house, if someone comes into your house and offers you a gift and you don't accept it, what happens to the gift?" And the old man stopped in his tracks, a little bit taken aback. He said, "Why, the gift should stay with the one who is giving it." And so Buddha said, exactly. Keep your insults, keep your aggression. Context is important. Toxicity is relative. Give us context. An example, maybe. Maybe my pee could be valuable to someone for medical research, for example. That's a good example. I was thinking like snake venom is toxic to humans, whereas honey badgers are immune to it. So, yeah, another example. And another example, chocolate, toxic to dogs. Cocoa, toxic to dogs, yet one of our most sought after delicacies as humans. A right treat for us, you know? Don't cast pearls before the swine. Because the swine only see value in the things they can eat. They're not interested in other forms of value. They don't see value in it. It's not valuable to them. Yeah, I agree. And that brings to mind the reason why I stopped streaming tarot and mysticism to Facebook, because they don't, or the people who were requesting the services on Facebook were not receiving value from it. They were asking the same exact question every week. Not changing their lives, not taking the advice seriously or seeing any value in it. Asking pointless questions again and again and again. And also never giving anything in return. And that's not to say that, you know, Facebook in general is full of people who don't receive value from mysticism. I don't know what it was. I don't know why. Don't know why. Why that was the only kind of person who came into. Well, it's not the only kind. There were a few people in between who understood the value I was giving and gave things in return. It's just the majority of individuals on Facebook were vampires. Most of the viewers and chatters on Facebook turned out to be vampires. Mr. Subin, hey, you're still here. So earlier, Exclaim, you were talking about what you would say to your mom. So what would you say to your dad then? Is that a maypole? Is that a legit maypole? Rhubarb pie. From your garden. I'm talking to Hugolina, by the way. Check the investment return before giving to someone. Okay. Looks stunning. Like, buy a car and you lose money, buy a house and you gain money. It's the same with people. Some act like houses, others like cars. Well, the car is still very useful, and in some cases it's a necessary asset. And in some cases, the market value of a house deteriorates. I guess it's the risk. It's a risk that you got to take. Be sure the house will bring you something back. Well, one way or another, whether the house gives you monetary returns, the house is still going to give you security. You know, it still has doors that protect you from burglars. It still has insulation that protects you from weather. You know, it's still going to give you something in return, even if it's not all that you had hoped for. Yes, I agree. That's why you shouldn't buy a house that's falling apart naturally. Again, it's relative, you know, but I could play the devil's advocate forever, so I guess it's the last time I'll do it. You know, if you are a construction manager, if you are someone who can repair and build houses, you might be able to improve the market value of the house you're buying if you buy one that is in ruins and repair it, depending on how serious the damage is and how cost effective it is for you to get hold of resources. But I totally get what you're saying. An investment in yourself, because you can add and bring value. I'm gonna go face my destiny. What does that look like? Something smells so amazing. Well, anyway, Exclaim, thank you so much for joining us today. Joining me and everyone else. For your support and all of the interesting dialogue. Celebrating people that are retiring. Okay. Well, enjoy it. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Make the most of it. Thank you so much. And I'll do that. I'll make sure to do that. Ah, sneaking and passing by. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us, even if only for a moment, before you have to get back to your guests. Blessed Lita to you. Enjoy your summer solstice. Summer solstice gathering, maypole dancing, rhubarb pie baking. Thank you. Took a whole bunch of clothes to the charity shop and gave it away. All the old stuff from the cupboards, clearing out stagnant energy and sharing it. Putting wishes and affirmations and that sort of thing on the tree, on the spruce tree. Our winter solstice celebrations are not all that serious. You know, very few people celebrate it. Very few people recognize the Sabbath. I guess the bigger my family gets, the bigger our celebrations and our Sabbaths will get. My playlist is repeating itself. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Dun, da, da, da. I missed what you said a few minutes ago. Very few people celebrate it. Very few people recognize the Sabbats. S-A-B-B-A-T-S. Sabbats. So you can see this thing here. So Lita, summer solstice, Mabon, autumn equinox, Samhain. Doesn't say what that is there, but it would be, I don't know, Lugnasad, winter solstice, Yule, Imbolc, Ostara, spring equinox. So there's like points in between the equinoxes and Sabbats, solstices. Solstice, equinox, and then the points in between. So here in, the Catholic Church recognizes all of them. We've got Easter for Mabon, for Ostara, spring. Halloween for Samhain. I don't know what Lita is on the Catholic calendar, but Yule is Christmas. But here in the Southern Hemisphere, we recognize Easter and Christmas, but we do it at the wrong time of year. We turned it upside down. So very few people recognize the Sabbats, and very few people do it properly when they do. These Sabbats are much older than Catholicism, though, but it's the Catholic Church, it's Catholicism that made it well known, that carried it through to today as we know it, Christmas, Easter, and so on and so forth. Like, I can talk a little bit more about it. Christmas, or Yuletide, winter solstice, which is what I'm celebrating right now. It's about enduring life through winter. People used to die. People still die during winter from the cold and lack of food, the famine and the cold. So the winter solstice celebration was about sharing what you had, making sure, sharing blankets, sharing clothes, gift giving. That's where the gift giving comes from, giving away old clothes and extra blankets that you don't use or don't need, giving it to people who don't have, sharing your food. Like you would cook a massive feast on Yuletide, and you would then share it with people who didn't have. When you had leftovers, when your family was done, you would take it and share it, and give it out to people who don't have, to help everyone endure through winter. So that's the symbol of the tree as well. The tree is an evergreen tree. The spruce tree is a symbol of endurance because it doesn't lose its leaves. It doesn't die in winter. And then the decorations of the Christmas tree or the Yule tree, you would write down things that you wanted to accomplish before the end of winter, or things you wanted to see changed before next winter, or things you wanted to accomplish in summer. You would write your wishes and your desires and your dreams. And you would paint it and decorate it and make it very artistic and then hang it on the tree. And the tinsel that wraps around the tree was meant to represent a web, and that web was like the web of connections between people. So you have a support structure, I have a support structure, family and friends, people we rely on when we have no one else and nothing. So the tinsel, the web on the tree, was to represent the web of connections, the people that we rely on, our support structure. and that is the winter solstice Sabbath. Sabbat. What is it called? Yuletide. And then All Hallows Eve, which is Samhain. And this is, this is like, it's after autumn. It's after the autumn equinox, right before we get into winter. So it's like, that's when you're getting close to death. You're reaching the veil between worlds, between life and death. So it was traditionally believed that ghosts and fairies and spirits of the dead would wander around on these days, and it is the truth, they do. Like in my experience, I have literally heard audible voices on that day of the year that don't belong to physical beings. And so the idea of dressing up or disguising yourself as a demon or a fairy or a ghost or whatever, it was believed that if you wanted to leave the house, you should, and you didn't want to attract attention from the spirits, you would have to disguise yourself as one of them. Other traditions of the All Hallows Eve of Samhain was to light candles and beacons in your windows and windowsills, and honor your deceased loved ones. So basically, if there are any spirits that are lost and trying to find their way home, they can follow the beacons that you place in your windows and doorways, and you would set up an altar to your ancestors, and you would leave them offerings on that day, because that's the day that they could come and be with you and you could commune with them. These were Celtic traditions, Germanic traditions, Roman traditions. Just about every European polytheist religion pre-Christianity acknowledged these Sabbats in some way or another. And then after Christianity, they adapted it as well. Catholicism continued with it. So Ostara, which is the spring equinox, which is now known as Easter, that one, it is the time when everything is most fertile. It's when flowers are blooming, it's when fruits are in the process of being making, it's when eggs hatch, it's when, it's a very fertile season. So the celebration of Ostara is to recognize that fertile energy and to embrace it. And it was common to engage in orgies during this time. It was, very sexual energies, recognizing and venerating